Stop talking about the things you do not want, because every time you repeat them, you rehearse them. Every time you complain about them, you strengthen them. Every time you tell the story again, you teach your brain, this is important. Find more of this. And then people wonder why they keep getting more of the same life. What if the problem is not your circumstances? What if the problem is what you keep feeding? And what I'm about to tell you changed the way I see everything. Because years ago, I had a first sergeant in the United States Marine Corps who said something I've never forgotten. Don't come to me with a problem unless you have a solution. And then he said something even deeper. If you do not have a solution, then you do not have a problem. You just have something the way it is. And that hit me. Because most of us spend our lives doing exactly the opposite. We do not bring solutions. We bring stories. We bring complaints. We bring fear. We bring the same problem over and over and over again. And we call that thinking. But it's not thinking, it's rehearsing. And rehearsing is powerful because whatever you rehearse, you train. If you are stuck, if you feel like the same situations keep showing up, the same people, the same arguments, the same fears, the same money problems, the same stress, this video may explain why. Because your brain does not only respond to reality, your brain responds to repetition. Whatever you repeatedly think about, talk about, picture, and emotionally react to, your brain starts treating like it matters most. I have said this before on my channel. Attention plus emotion plus repetition plus action equals reality. That is not just philosophy. That is neuroscience. And in a minute, I'm going to show you the simple question that can interrupt any negative spiral in seconds. A question so powerful that if you ask it enough, it can completely change the direction of your life. But first, why people stay stuck. Most people spend all day saying things like, I hate my job. I'm always broke. Nothing ever works for me. People are terrible. I'm so stressed. And maybe those things feel true. But here's the problem. Your mind does not know whether you are trying to solve it or install it. It only knows this thought keeps coming up. This must be important. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system. Its job is to scan the world and find more of whatever you focus on. Buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. Start talking about betrayal, you notice every rude person. Talk constantly about how life is hard, and your mind becomes an expert at finding proof. Not because life changed, because your attention changed. And whatever you feed grows. The difference between noticing and living there. Listen carefully. I'm not saying ignore your problems. I'm not saying pretend everything is perfect. I'm not saying fake positivity. That's nonsense. You have to notice reality, but you do not have to live there. You can notice something once, learn from it, and then ask, what do I want instead? That is the missing move. What do I want instead? Most people stop at what they do not want. They say, I don't want chaos. Okay. Then what do you want? What do you want instead? Peace, order, calm, a simple life? I don't want debt. Okay. Then what do you want? Freedom, wisdom, security, abundance? I don't want people to disrespect me. Then what do you want? Respect, healthy boundaries, strong relationships? The moment you know what you do want, you have direction. Before that, you only had resistance. And the question that changes everything, this is the question. What would I rather have? What possibility do I want to create? Whenever something frustrates you, ask it, what would I rather have? Then ask, what would the version of me who creates that focus on? Because the future version of you is not obsessing over the problem. They are building the solution. They are talking about what they are creating. They are practicing the feeling of where they are going. They are acting like a person with direction. I remember catching myself doing this years ago. I would tell the same story again and again. because, it made me feel good, made me feel like, oh, people care and they want to listen to me. And I would tell the same story about what went wrong, what I hated, what was unfair. And I thought I was processing, but I was not processing. I was programming. I was making the old story so familiar, and the brain loves what is familiar, even if what is familiar is pain. And this is why people repeat the same relationships, the same fears, the same habits, not because they want them, because they train them. But the good news is you can train something else. You can train peace. You can train confidence. You can train possibility. You can train your mind to look for what could work. Here's a simple rule. And you are allowed to mention the problem once. After that, you must spend twice as much time talking about the solution. You can say, I don't like this, but then immediately ask, what do I want instead? Even when someone says, they go on a rampage of everything that's wrong, you're like, what do you want instead? You can ask them that question. You're like, oh, that's horrible. What do you want instead? Uh, Another trick, replace, why is this happening to me with, what is this teaching me? I believe everything is here for you, and it's all here for you. So what is it here for? And replace, I have to with, I get to. Replace, this is terrible with, how do I want this to turn out? Because your words matter, not in some magical fairy tale way, but because your words guide your attention guides your emotions guide your actions, and your actions build your life. Imagine if every person on earth stopped talking about everything they hated and started building what they loved. Imagine if people stopped spreading fear and started spreading possibility. Imagine if every time someone complained, they had to answer, okay, what do you want instead? That one question could change families, relationships, communities, maybe even the world. So here's the challenge. For the next 24 hours, 24 years, for the rest of your life, catch yourself. Every time you complain, every time you repeat an old story, every time you talk about what you do not want, every time you hear somebody talking about somebody you want, every time you hear somebody repeating an old story, pause and ask, what do I want instead? What do you want instead? And then talk about that. Think about that. Feel that. Move toward that, because you are always training your mind. You are always teaching your nervous system what is familiar. You are always creating. The question is, are you feeding the life you want or the life you fear? And remember what my first sergeant said. Don't come to me with a problem unless you have a solution. Because if you do not have a solution, then maybe it is not a problem. Maybe it is simply reality as it is for you right now. And your job is not to complain about it. Your job is to decide what you want instead. Go in love and peace with wisdom and understanding. Enjoy this day. What do you want out of this day?